without that, it would have taken a lot longer than 40 hours. So. Growing up, I always did team sports. I lifted through college, and then everything kind of died down as I ended college. And so in order to kind of get fit and get back into it again, I started running, and started running about 1.5 miles every day. And then I got that itch and started thinking, how much further can I go? So I would run 4 miles, and then 12 miles. And then I did my first, marathon and a training run, and then a 50K, a 50 mile, 100K, and then most recently a 100-mile trail race. It went really well. I ended up finishing, I got my buckle. It took 40 hours and 30 minutes, which the course is about 106 miles long, and it has 33,000 feet of vertical gain and descent, which is like going up Everest from sea level and some. And so not a flat spot on the course, but persevered through 2 nights and got it done.
So when it comes to getting prepared for a 100-mile race, you don't just like wake up in the morning and go, okay, I'm ready to run 100 miles. So how did you get prepared for doing a race of that magnitude?
Sure. Well, I work with a coach, and I also utilized a lot of the Garmin training metrics to help prepare best for this race. So the training block was about 4 to 5 months long. Had a couple of races that we used as training races for long runs, but just really listening to the expertise that my coach has, and then also listening to my body and seeing, getting good data from Garmin to see how I can best recover and attack the next workout, or sleep better the next day, was really how I got ready for this race.
Okay. And so that all helped you get ready for the race.
Yeah.
And to my understanding, and other conversations that we've had, when it came to race day, you donned our Phoenix 7X.
I did.
So on race day, what features were you using the most that day to keep you going for the 40 hours?
Sure. Well, I mostly relied on the map to let me know where I was on the race, and then also with about 15 miles to go on night 2, my headlamp died. And so the way this course is set up is it gets steeper as you come into the finish. And so you go over a trail called the Duncan Ridge Trail, which is basically just a bunch of rocks and roots. And you're going over sections that are about 1 mile long with 10 to 20% vertical grade, and then 40% descent. And then so you're constantly on your toes, or you're on your heels going up and down these hills till you get to the finish. And so my headlamp died, and so I used the Phoenix's flashlight to get to the aid station to then figure out how to fix my headlight. So without that, it would have taken a lot longer than 40 hours. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it came in clutch at that particular moment and everything, and it got you through it. So
yeah.
What have you noticed? Like, I'm sure using these particular products and all the data that they collect, going back and analyzing all that information, was there anything that you've kind of gleaned looking back at it, and from the data from training all the way to race day, that you're going to kind of carry forward with your with your training in the future?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me was making sure there wasn't just a steep decline in an effort level. So I felt during the race that I still had my climbing legs all up until about 104 miles in. And then the worst part for me was the descents. So just descending for that long and that steep really blows your quads out. And so using all the information on pace and grade and the grade and my heart rate and stuff like that throughout the race, I'm able to go back and see, okay, was it a nice level effort, nice leveled off effort, or was it peaks and valleys? And so I was able to see I didn't really have a huge drop off, and that was good to see, and good for my coach to see too. So now we can talk next week and see what we're going to figure out for the rest of the year on what weaknesses we can train for the next 100-mile race.
Okay.
So
everybody starts somewhere. So you started from 1 mile, 5,
right.
10, all that. What advice would you give to somebody who is looking to get into running?
Well, from an advice standpoint, I would really make sure to push on, take your easy miles easy and make sure you're prepared and ready to run the hard miles hard. That's the best way to make an improvement, is by not running everything in that mid zone where you're comfortable enough at going certainly a certain speed, but you're going too fast for what you should be doing, or you're not going fast enough for to see a benefit in your workout. Utilizing a Garmin watch, I think what's something that's really overlooked is the body battery feature. It's scary accurate, so really pay attention to that and how it can help you, give you some insight for recovery. And then coming into running can be pretty overwhelming, so take advantage of the fact we have our daily suggested workouts and give those a shot. But most of all, just build up momentum, because that's going to be the best way to keep running, is if you've already been running.
Yeah.
So
I know I can relate. Once I get that habit, it gets discouraging when you can't get out there. So once you kind of establish it, it kind of becomes addicting.
Exactly.
So Harry, thanks again for coming out here, for telling us your wonderful story. I may be at least inspired to start training for a half, maybe even a full. Again, maybe. We'll see. I'll let you know. But otherwise, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you around next time.